friends, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making some holiday treats here in my kitchen. I recently did a tutorial, or more like a DIY type stuff that you could add for a hot cocoa station or a coffee station. So these treats are going to be something you could add into that, but also I'm going to be doing some like gift baskets for our employees and for our neighbors. So this is something that I'm going to be adding in there as well. So what I'm going to be making is peppermint mocha marshmallows. Doesn't that sound good? I love peppermint mocha. I want to know, what is your favorite add-in flavor for coffee or cocoa during the holiday? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you guys are going to be amazed at how easy this is.
Okay guys, so I'm going to use 3 packages of gelatin with a half a cup of water. And I'm going to add it into my stand-up mixer and let it sit in there, making sure all of that gelatin is mixed in with the water. And then I'm just going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. While it's sitting, I'm going to get a small glass of cold water and set it on the side. And in a pan on a medium to high heat, I'm going to mix in half a cup of water, 2 cups of sugar, a half a cup of corn syrup, and I'm going to let that come to a full rolling boil. So of course I'll have the full recipe in the description box below, and I will say, I don't know if you noticed, I sprayed cooking spray inside my measuring cup and on my rubber spatula, and that's going to make that corn syrup a lot easier to work with. Okay, notice that I did not stir that. I want it to just sit and heat up slowly. And while it's heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and line a baking sheet with foil. And I'm gonna line it both ways. And basically it's gonna be like handles to get my marshmallow out when it's done. So I also spray it, and I make sure that it's everywhere in that, on that foil. So at this point, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of instant coffee. Now that's optional. It does not have to be in there. If you don't want a coffee flavor, you do not have to add that. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and give it a slight mix and let that come to a boil while I measure and sift out half a cup of cornstarch and half a cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to put it in a bowl on the side and just set it aside. So it's going to take between 9 and 12 minutes for your sugar mix to come to a boil. And do you remember that glass of water I had sitting there? Well, I'm going to add a little bit of my mixture into that glass of water. And I don't have a candy thermometer, so this is how I'm going to tell if it's ready. I've let it, once it came to a boil, I let it boil for a good full minute. And this is just how I'm going to test it. If it feels soft, then it's ready. If it's too firm, it's cooked too much. So if you have a candy thermometer, you would want it to reach around 240 degrees, and then it's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and add my whisk to my stand mixer, and I'm just going to turn it on the lowest setting just to kind of break up that gelatin. And then I'm going to slowly pour in my sugar mix. And then I'm going to gradually bring up the speed of my mixer to high. So it's going to take about 3 minutes or so before you're going to see it turn white and start looking fluffy, like marshmallow fluff. You're going to let it mix for about between 9 and 12 minutes. And you can actually feel the bowl and feel if it's cooled off enough. And at that point, you're going to add your flavoring. So if you want plain marshmallows, go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. If you want peppermint mocha, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of peppermint extract and 1 teaspoon of chocolate extract. So if you want more of a chocolate flavor, a good combination is 1 teaspoon of chocolate and 1 teaspoon of hazelnut. Those go so good together. So at this point, you're going to want to move a little quicker and just scrape off as much as you can from the whisk and get that marshmallow cream into your baking dishes. So for really decadent marshmallows, put it all in one baking dish, and it's about a 9 by 12 baking dish. I'm going to split mine up. I put the biggest majority in the bigger dish, and then I put a small amount, kind of thinner, in a smaller dish. So at that point, you're just going to want to smooth it out, smooth all corners, and get it as flat as you can. And like I said, work quickly because it's going to start setting up pretty fast. So at this point, you're going to want to cover your marshmallow with saran wrap or some type of clear wrap. I put a little bit of spray cooking oil on it so it doesn't stick to the marshmallow. And you're going to want to let that set overnight. And this is the next day. My marshmallows are ready, so I'm going to put some candy cane in my food processor and break them up into small pieces and just put them in a bowl. And I'm going to melt some chocolate wafers. You could use almond bark too if you wanted. And I'm going to melt those in my microwave. And I'm going to use this candy cane truffle coffee. My husband really likes the coffee flavor, so that's why I added it to my marshmallows. And I just feel like this would be very complimentary. So what you're going to do is, you remember that cornstarch powdered sugar mix? You're going to sprinkle it on top of your marshmallow. Then you're going to flip it over, remove the foil, and sprinkle some more on the back side. So both sides are covered in your sugar mix. And then you can either use oil or powdered sugar on a knife, or you could use a pizza cutter if you want, and cut your marshmallows to the size you'd like. So I like my marshmallows perfectly square. So I cut the sides off on mine. And what I do is I cut those into tiny little pieces so I have mini marshmallows. So I'm getting 3 different kinds of marshmallows out of this, and you'll see. You want to coat all sides of your marshmallows with the powdered sugar mix, and that's going to keep them from being so sticky. And with my squares, I'm going to dip them in the chocolate, and then I dip them in the coffee, and then I dip them in the candy cane. This is just such a good blend of flavors together. And people always question coffee grounds, but trust me, it's so good. So once I've got, I did sprinkle a little bit of sugar mix on top of those, just to give a little sparkle. And you remember that second pan that had the thinner marshmallows? Well, I'm going to use a snowflake cookie cutter and cut out some snowflakes. And once I get it covered on all sides with my powdered sugar mix, I'm going to use the rest of that chocolate, just put it in a Ziploc, and you guys could decorate yours however you choose. This is just what I used. And those same sugary, like glittery sprinkles, I add those on there, and then a little bit of candy cane. And then I decided I wanted these little candy gingerbread men because my kitchen is gingerbread men themed. So, and yeah, the snowflakes are perfect for cocoa. So I like those for cocoa, and then I like the other ones just to eat because they are so good, even for s'mores. Truthfully, homemade marshmallows melt so much better in cocoa or s'mores or anything you're using them for. They're just so much better. They taste unbelievable. They're amazing. So if you've never tried them, do give this a try for your Christmas guest. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.